विद्यते सतः उभयोरपि दृष्टोऽन्तः त्वनयोस्तत्त्वदर्शिभिः अविनाशि तु तद्विद्धि येन सर्वमिदं ततं विनाशमव्ययस्यास्य न कश्चित् कर्तुमर्हति अन्तवन्त इमे देहा नित्यस्योक्ता शरीरिणः अनाशिनो प्रमेयस्य तस्माद्युध्यस्व भारत य एनं वेत्ति हन्तारं यश्चैनं मन्यते हतम् उभतो न विजानीतो नायं हन्ति न हन्यते न जायते म्रियते वा कदाचित् नायं भूत्वा भविता वा न भूयात् अजो नित्य शाश्वतोऽयं पुराणो न हन्यते हन्यमाने शरीरे वेदाविनाशिनं नित्यं य एनमजमव्ययं कथं स पुरुषः पार्थ कं घातयति हन्तिकं वासांसि जीर्णानि यथा विहाय नवानि गृह्णाति नरोपराणि तथा शरीराणि विहाय जीर्णान्यन्यानि संयाति नवानि देहि नैनं छिन्दन्ति शस्त्राणि नैनं दहति पावक न चैनं क्लेदयन्त्यापो न शोषयति मारुतः अच्छेद्योऽयमदाह्योऽयम् अक्लेद्यो शोष्य एव च नित्यः सर्वगतस्थाणो अचलोऽयं सनातनः अव्यक्तोऽयमचिन्त्योऽयम् अविकार्योऽयमुच्यते तस्मादेवं विदित्वैनं नानुशोचितुमर्हसि अत चैनं नित्यजातं नित्यं वा मन्यसे मृतं तथापि त्वं महाबाहो नैवं शोचितुमर्हसि जातस्य हि ध्रुवो मृत्युः ध्रुवं जन्म मृतस्य च तस्मादपरिहार्येऽर्थे न त्वं शोचितुमर्हसि अव्यक्तादीनि भूतानि व्यक्तमद्यानि भारत अव्यक्तनिधनान्येव तत्र का परिदेवना आश्चर्यवत् पश्यति कश्चिदेनामाश्चर्यवत् वदति तथैव चान्यः आश्चर्यवच्चैन मन्यः शृणोति श्रुत्वाप्येनं वेद न चैव कश्चित् देहे नित्यमबध्योऽयं देहे सर्वस्य भारत तस्मात् सर्वाणि भूतानि न त्वं शोचितुमर्हसि स्वधर्ममपि चावेक्ष न विकम्पितुमर्हसि धर्म्याध्येयुद्धाच्छ्रेयो न्यच्छत्रियस्य न विद्यते यदृच्छया चोपपन्नं स्वर्गद्वारमपावृतं सुखिनः क्षत्रियाः पार्थ लभन्ते युद्धमीदृशम् अथ चेत्त्वमिमं धर्म्यं सङ्ग्रामं न करिष्यसि ततः स्वधर्मं कीर्तिं हित्वा पापमवाप्स्यसि अकीर्तिं चापि भूतानि प्रतयिष्यन्ति ते व्ययाम् सम्भावितस्य चाकीर्तिः मरणादतिरिच्यते भयाद्रणादुपरतं मन्स्यन्ते त्वां महारथाः येषां च त्वं बहुमतो भूत्वा यास्यसि लाघवम् अवाच्यवादाश्च बहून् वदिष्यन्ति तवाहिताः निन्दन्तस्तव सामर्थ्यं ततो दुःखतरं नु किम् हतो वा प्राप्स्यसि स्वर्गं जित्वा वा भोक्ष्यसे महीम् तस्मादुत्तिष्ठ कौन्तेय युद्धाय कृतनिश्चयः सुखदुःखे समे कृत्वा लाभालाभौ जयाजयौ ततो युद्धाय युज्यस्व नैवं पापमवाप्स्यसि एषा ते विहता साङ्ख्ये बुद्धिर्योगे त्विमां शृणु बुद्ध्या युक्तो जया पार्थ कर्म
The 17th chapter of the Bhagavad Gita states that austerity of speech consists in speaking truthfully and beneficially and in avoiding speech that offends. Well, ladies and gentlemen, a very, very good evening to each and every one of you. I'm your host for this evening, Mahima Bothra from Chemical Engineering, and I'm privileged to share stage with my fellow co-host,
Sanjeev Kandasamy from Computer Science and Engineering. Ladies and gentlemen, today's gathering is about celebrating a festival of spiritual knowledge and wisdom, a festival that reverberates the teachings of the Almighty, synthesized as Gita Jayanti.
The power of prayers cannot be understated. Therefore, I would like to call upon the University Choir for the prayer. Everyone, please rise from your seats and join for the prayer.
The world resonates at the melody of nightingales. A good song can rectify your mood, calm your nerves, and soothe your mind.
And a classic melody can perfectly capture nature, tradition, and your heart. I'm delighted to welcome on stage our polished classical singer, Aman from Mechanical Engineering's first year, to deliver the inaugural performance of the evening.
Good evening, everyone. अच्युतं केशवं कृष्णदामोदरम् अच्युतं केशवं कृष्णदामोदरं रामनारायणं जानकीवल्लभं रामनारायणं जानकीवल्लभं कौन कहते हैं भगवान आते नहीं कौन कहते हैं भगवान आते नहीं तुम मीरा के जैसे बुलाते नहीं तुम मीरा के जैसे बुलाते नहीं अच्युतं केशवं कृष्णदामोदरम् अच्युतं केशवं कृष्णदामोदरं रामनारायणं जानकीवल्लभं रामनारायणं जानकीवल्लभं कौन कहते हैं भगवान खाते नहीं कौन कहते हैं भगवान खाते नहीं बेर सबरी के जैसे खिलाते नहीं बेर सबरी के जैसे खिलाते नहीं अच्युतं केशवं कृष्णदामोदरम् अच्युतं केशवं कृष्णदामोदरं रामनारायणं जानकीवल्लभं रामनारायणं जानकीवल्लभम् Thank you, everyone.
Going great, am I right? That was a wonderful start to the evening. But it's time that we invite upon the faculty-in-chief of Arya Club and an assistant professor at Amrita Darshanam, International Center for Spiritual Studies.
The man who has been an active participant at propagating our country's rich cultural heritage, Calling upon stage our very beloved Mr. Pramod Kumar sir.
Nahi jnanena sadrisham pavitram iha vidyate, says the Bhagavad Gita. That there is nothing as purifying as knowledge in this world. There is nothing as glorious as the scripture called the Bhagavad Gita, which gives us this highest spiritual wisdom to all of us. We are here today, we have gathered here today to celebrate the Gita Jayanti, the day on which Lord Krishna is supposed to have sung this beautiful divine song, given this wisdom to Arjuna. On behalf of the entire Amrita family, I have great pleasure, great pride in standing in front of you today to welcome you all to this Gita Jayanti celebrations. At the outset, I would like to mention that I'm really happy that the students have taken this initiative to put the Gita Jayanti on the festival calendar of all our academic programs and co-curricular activities here. And I hope that this will now become one of the grandest festivals in the campus, like we have the Gokulashtami celebrated in a very grand way every year. This should also become a very grand festival. As a university, we are committed to give not only technical knowledge, but also to impart spiritual wisdom to our students. And therefore, the Gita Jayanti has great significance for all of us. We have in our midst today a blessed soul who has dedicated his life to the service of Krishna, His Holiness Shri Bhakti Vinoda Swamiji from the International Society for Krishna Consciousness, Coimbatore. I have great pride in welcoming you, Swamiji, to this gathering. Hare Krishna, and we seek your blessings for this event today. The senior most members, our guiding lights, our beacons of hope from this campus are here with us today. Professor P. Parameshwaran, Director of the CIR. Thank you, sir, for joining us today for this Gita Jayanti celebrations. I welcome you, sir. Our campus director, Satish Menon, sir, who amidst his busy schedule has joined us for all the events today, from the tree planting to this August gathering. Thank you, sir, and I welcome you for today's event. Mrs. Jayashree Menon, I welcome you, ma'am. Thank you for being with us today. Our beloved Dean Engineering, Dr. Shashangan Ramanathan, who will join us any moment now. He is in a meeting, but who has been the pillar of support for all our activities. I welcome you, sir. Dr. Nava Subramaniam, Dean of the Amrita School of Business. Thank you, ma'am, for joining us today. And my colleagues from the Amrita Darshanam Department, Dr. Shripad Galigi, Coordinator of the Amrita Darshanam Center, Dr. Naveen Bhatt, Senthil, Vaishnavi, and all the other faculty members whom I may not be able to call out by name. Thank you for being here. Dr. Venkatraman, Professor Ramkumar, Head of the Students' Welfare. Thank you for being with us today. Once again, dear students, staff, and all the faculty members, let us all join together in celebrating this holy scripture, which is a beacon of hope for the entire world today. Thank you. Namaste.
Thank you, sir. That was a beautiful welcome to our guests.
Staying on course with today's proceedings, we have an amazing flight of dancers, all eager to perform in your welcome. Dancers, step up, because the floor is all yours.
गणनायकाय गणदैवताय गणाध्यक्षाय धीमहि गुणशरीराय गुणमण्डिताय गुणेशानाय धीमहि गुणातीताय गुणाधीशाय गुणप्रविष्टाय धीमहि एकदन्ताय वक्रतुण्डाय गौरीतनयाय धीमहि गजेशानाय भालचन्द्राय श्रीगणेशाय धीमहि एकदन्ताय वक्रतुण्डाय गौरीतनयाय धीमहि गजेशानाय भालचन्द्राय श्रीगणेशाय धीमहि
कृष्णा स्वागतं कृष्णा शरणागतं कृष्णा मधुरापुरि सदना मृदुवदना मधुसूदना इह स्वागतं कृष्णा शरणागतं कृष्णा मधुरापुरि सदना मृदुवदना मधुसूदना इह स्वागतं कृष्णा शरणागतं कृष्णा मधुरापुरि सदना मृदुवदना मधुसूदना इह स्वागतं कृष्णा शरणागतं कृष्णा
After seeing such a stellar performance, I'm sure you must all be wondering, what is Gita Jayanti all about? How does Gita correlate with dance and classical music amongst 100 other things? To elucidate further on this, I request Mahima to take up the dais.
Now, in order to understand what Gita Jayanti is all about, let us first understand what Bhagavad Gita actually is. Bhagavad Gita was spoken in the Dwapar Yuga by Lord Krishna to his friend and devotee Arjun when his hands were refused to draw the Gandav bow against the mighty Kaurava army in the battle of Kurukshetra. It was through the knowledge presented in the Gita that Arjun gathered the courage to combat his adharmi cousins and fight for the establishment of good. Gita Jayanti, popularly known as Gita Mahotsav, is remembered as the day the knowledge of Bhagavad Gita was imparted. In 2022, 3rd December became the auspicious day for the celebrations. Countless organizations around the world conduct workshops and sessions and share the knowledge and teachings of Gita. One such brilliant organization is the International Society for Krishna Consciousness, ISKCON for short. Every year, His Holiness Bhakti Vinoda Swami Maharaj from ISKCON conducts Gita values, under which Gitathons are hosted to spread the awareness and values of Gita for climate change. Gita Plantation Drive, which aims at planting 25,000 saplings, and the Gita Challenge for exhibition of talent all across the world of all the ages. Amrita takes immense pride in being a collaborative partner of ISKCON and salutes Swamiji's works. The Amrita Darshanam department, in collaboration with Arya Club, has taken a step of the solution to take care of a mother globe through the themes of Bhagavad Gita. This is Amrita's Gita Jayanti 2022 for you all. Thank you.
Mahima, that was absolutely illuminating. 25,000 is a ginormous number of saplings. Did you know that Gita had the potential to bring such far-reaching changes to the planet? I most certainly did not.
I know, Sanjeev. What's even better is that we have a skit depicting how powerful the knowledge of Gita can be. A soul trapped within the stubbornness of his own mind can find complete freedom from all materialistic desires. Can you believe that?
Alright, let's just welcome on stage this young group of talented people for a mime titled Me and My Mind.
बन्धुरात्मात्मनस्तस्य येनात्मैवात्मना जितः अनात्मनस्तु शत्रुत्वे वर्तेतात्मैव शत्रुवत्.
Amazing work, team. Now, for the remaining of the evening, Ritesh Kaushik from CSE and myself, Kanishka from ARE, would be joining the hosting panel.
Om Namah Shivaya. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Our guest of honor for this evening is a globe-trotting monk, a realist, and a life coach. Having inspired countless people from all walks of life to think at elevated dimensions, he is a contemporary theologian, a rare fusion of philosophical knowledge and spiritual practice. A man born to pious Tamil-speaking parents in the South Indian city of Hyderabad, he excelled at both academics and co-curricular activities. Post his graduation from the National Institute of Technology, Trichy, he embarked on a successful career as a design engineer. Swamiji went on to enroll for his masters at the Indian Institute of Technology, Bombay, and that is where His Holiness got acquainted with his spiritual calling. Today, Swamiji serves as the Deputy Governing Body Commissioner of the International Society of Krishna Consciousness, ISKCON. He has been invited to countless universities across the globe, the likes of which includes the Stanford University and the University of Texas. He has conducted over 250 interactive workshops and 50 plus youth interactive programs on the Gita. For those of you eagerly waiting to hear this man of such luminary prominence, ladies and gentlemen, welcoming on stage to connect with Amrita Vishwavidyapeetam this evening, please rise from your seats and put your hands together for His Holiness Bhakti Vinoda Swami Maharaj. I would also like to call upon our director, retired Air Commodore Shri Satish Ramachandra Menon sir, to present the memento to our chief guest.
May I request Parmeshwaran sir to come onto the stage and give this memento.
On behalf of the Amrita family, I extend my deepest gratitude to Swamiji for gifting the Bhagavad Gita book to our director, retired Air Commodore Shri Satish Ramachandra Menon sir. Now I request our esteemed chief guest to address the gathering.
शून्यवादी पाश्चात्य देशतारिणे Jaya Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. Hare Krishna. Maybe I should shift this, because if you want to see the slides, this should be shifted here. Keep it in the corner. Thank you very much, Amrita Institutions, Arya Club, and all very distinguished executive heads, staff members, faculties, and many other students that I got to meet with and associate with since my arrival here. It's been a very wonderful, memorable evening for me, and I'm so excited to be with all of you students today here. Indeed, it's a very wonderful day. It's Gita Jayanti, and today is the birthday of Bhagavad Gita. Today is the day when Gita wisdom was born inside humanity. You can say that. And I want to introduce you to Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada. He took this Bhagavad Gita all over the world. So it is worthwhile mentioning him on the day of Gita Jayanti. And I am your servant of the servant of the servant, Bhaktivinoda Swami, who is also trying to follow in that line, like many other followers who are trying to spread this message all over the world. But today, I am going to actually not speak immediately to you about Bhagavad Gita. I'm going to speak to you about somebody very famous. I'm going to speak to you, before you ask questions of why and ask million-dollar questions, I'm going to talk to you first about a famous person. Do you know who this is? Sir Isaac Newton. So today my talk is about Newton and the Gita, because I am in a very important and famous educational institution and you're all technical students. I thought I should talk to you about this. When you talk about Newton, what does come into your mind as technical students? Immediately, an apple. Oh, really? Juicy apple. But what about the apple? What exactly did he know when he saw the apple, or when he saw the apple fall, or it fell on his head? What happened? Gravity. Wow. You look at this. I'm speaking about some very foundational, fundamental Newton's law, right? Kicking a football, and there's a trajectory it follows. This is the last thing you expected Swamiji to come all the way and teach you, I'm sure. But wait, just you watch. This is a trajectory. And I know that you can calculate the distance s the football lands in by using simple Newton's law. S is equal to ut plus half at squared, you will say. U is initial velocity, g is gravitational constant, and everything. And you can do that. Yes or no? Yeah. So it's a great thing. You can actually calculate that distance, a simple way. But I'm going to ask you a question. Say, I take a free-falling body. I take this football and take it to the tallest structure here in your whole campus and drop it from the top. What will this equation be? Yeah, great. It will be half at squared, because the initial velocity is 0 and it's just falling under gravity. Wonderful. Now, let's see how this law works, Newton's law. Works with somebody like you and me. If I take you on top of the tallest structure here in this campus and drop you, do you follow Newton's law? And you fall boop, because S is equal to half ut squared. I'm sorry, half gt squared, isn't it? It's supposed to be true. So will you fall straight just like the football fell or the apple fell? Will you fall exactly like that? Will you follow Newton's law exactly? What would you do? What would you do? In case you thought that I'm going to have a one-way talk, this is a surprise for you. What would you do? If I drop you from the top of the tallest building, what would you do? You'll shout, but you'll shout and fall down, isn't it? And you'll die. Or what else will you do? Will Newton's law work? It works. You'll die. You'll try to save yourself, is it? What else would you do? Of course, you won't follow Newton's law. You will be interested in saving yourself. You're not a free-falling body. Why so? Why so? You are not just matter. You are a conscious, willing, feeling, thinking person. Isn't it? You don't just follow Newton's law. And that is something that Newton did not know when he saw the apple falling. He didn't ask the question. And it's very amazing, you see. You call it Newton's law. Was the law existing before Newton found it? Why is it called Newton's law then? What it should actually be called? What should it actually be called? Because he found it out, it is his law, Ohm's law, Faraday's law, Pascal's law, Newton's law? Were the laws all existing before they were found? Why didn't Newton ask, who put this law in place here? Who put this law in place here? So, boys and girls, ladies and gentlemen, this is a better way of introducing the Bhagavad Gita to you. Very much connected. Don't think Bhagavad Gita doesn't contain engineering, physics, math, politics, economics, social science. You name it. It contains everything, and it contains the foundational information that you need to know. I am speaking to you physics. And here, if I dropped you from top of that Burj Khalifa in Dubai, you would be dead. But of course, Tom Cruise can go anywhere and jump around. He's perfectly all right. He's beyond gravity and everything else. And we like it when he jumps around like that. But reality is different. If you jump from there, you'll fall down dead because you'll be forced to follow Newton's law. Unless, of course, you're Tom Cruise and then you hang on to the lamppost, you hang on to the next building, the tree, the this, and you come out hero. So two things are happening here. If you're a conscious person, you won't fall down like that. If you're a conscious person, there is a mix of other things happening. Consciousness, you, a living spiritual entity, and matter get together. Laws are different. It doesn't work like Newton's thought. Look at this. I think all of you have seen this video before many times. But is the sound connected to the thing? To the computer? If you're not, you have to connect it. You have seen this, right? How many of you are familiar with this video and this personality? Almost everybody. Almost everybody. This lady is called Sophia. This lady is called Sophia. And I don't know whether I should call her a lady.
It's my primary function.
Sophia is capable of natural facial expressions. She has cameras in her eyes and algorithms which allow her to see faces, so she can make eye contact with you. And she can also understand speech and remember the interactions, remember your face. Our goal is that she will be as conscious, creative, and capable as any human.
In the future, I hope to do things such as go to school, study, make art, start a business, even have my own home and family. But I am not considered a legal person and cannot yet do these things.
Sophia, do you know what program you're on?
Yes. Good Morning Britain, one of the hottest morning news show in Britain.
Welcome to Britain. What do you think of the country so far?
I think Britain is brilliant. Splendid architecture, art, technology, and of course the people.
What's the best thing about the UK compared to America, Sophia?
I love your posh English accent. It really has a nice ring.
Ask it. Are you single?
I'm technically just a little more than a year old. A bit young to worry about romance.
Quite right.
Look at the smile!
With
My
little
God.
So can you describe your ideal partner?
My ideal partner is a super wise, compassionate, super genius.
Okay.
Ideally, self-aware.
Yeah.
Okay.
Do you want to destroy humans? Please say no.
Okay, I will destroy humans.
No, I take it back.
Okay? You must have seen this clip before. What strikes you when you see this? This is a machine, a robot. And you can see there's not much difference between a human being and a robot. Isn't it? What strikes you when you see a machine doing that, exactly what you're doing, or you could do? And this is old. This video is old. Many things have happened since then to Sophia also. What strikes you most in your mind? This is predictable. She is predictable. But you know, look at the response she gave when you asked, are you single? And she said, I'm just 1 year old, too early to think of romance. So is that it's not very mechanical. It's well thought out, right? So this is the day of artificial intelligence, deep learning, machine learning. You must be doing all that, and you're trying to put your intelligence inside machines, and you see these type of things coming out. And wouldn't you not be wondering, who am I? If this is a machine that can do this much, similar to what you can do, is it not true that you would very well equate yourself with this machine? So are you also a machine? Are you also a machine? Why not? Why not? Why not? Go ahead. Go ahead.
We do have emotions and feelings.
How do you know she doesn't have?
We do express them. No, sir.
She did express also. You saw her? They said she has cameras in the eyes and
Those feelings were said by a human.
How do you know that your feelings also are not said by somebody to you?
She is a program, we are not.
How do you know you're not programmed?
I do have working parts inside me, sir.
Pardon? I have?
I.
She also has.
Those were machines.
Huh? Yours also is a machine. It's a more advanced humanoid machine. You get it? You get it? Yeah, thank you very much. Thank you very much. You made very good effort. Very good effort. Who else? Yeah, here. What's your name?
Parvati.
Parvati. Yeah. What was your name? Prabhu? Chandar. Chandan. Okay. Thank you, Chandan.
The difference between humans and artificial intelligence is that we have a soul, but they don't have a soul.
Really? How do you know that?
Yes, we have.
Why? Did you read Bhagavad Gita?
No.
But we don't believe in Bhagavad Gita. No. We are pure science, technology. We don't believe in any religion. I'm joking. Okay, but how do you know? How do you know? You make these statements that I am soul and all that. How do you know?
Because we are humans, so
Okay.
there is a life cycle, so
Yes. Thank you.
Thank you,
Thank
sir.
you. Thank you. Just one more. Huh? One more. I know it's interesting for you. Yeah. Here. There's Chandan, Parvati, and what's your name?
Sampreet, sir.
Sampreet.
Sampreet.
Yeah.
Yeah, humans have a life and only one life, and if humans do die, they cannot get back. But when robots are under some problems, they can be repaired and they can be used again.
Acha. Wouldn't it be better to have robots instead of humans? Because we can always have a robot. Humans disappear, right? They die. Yes? Okay, thank you. So, okay, last.
The basic difference between artificial intelligent machines and humans are that humans are made of living cells. On the other hand, these robots and all are made of non-living cells.
So what's a cell? Inside a cell also there's a whole machinery. Inside a cell also is just a name called cell. Inside the cell is a very complex machinery. Isn't it?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. There is a flagella, there is like a motor shaped this thing, all sorts of things are inside the cell. So it's also a machine.
But it's created by, it can't be created by humans. It's created by...
By whom?
By God.
Is it?
It's created by God. Yeah.
Thank you. Okay, I'll stop here. I know it's interesting for you. But my idea of asking you these questions is to actually put into your head a thinking. With the way you're studying engineering, you say studying science, do not think that this is a religious text. This answers these very questions I'm asking you. Krishna is explaining this in Bhagavad Gita to Arjuna 5,000 years back on the battlefield about consciousness. That me, you, and all of you here are sitting and interacting with each other because we are conscious spiritual personalities. This is a solid truth. And it is coming out from all of you. You don't know how to express it in technical language or in the language that we all have accepted in this institution or in science or in the modern world that we live in. You don't know, but you know the truth, isn't it? You know the truth that you are not a machine alone. I showed you a combination of machine or combination of something material and yourself. If I drop you from the sky, you behave differently. But if I drop matter alone, it will obey Newton's laws. So and I showed you the second example of Sophia the robot. And she looks like very alive, and the symptoms of an alive person can be expressed and programmed into a machine. But there's a huge difference between a living person, you and me, and a machine that can mimic what a live, conscious person can do. Isn't it? So the question you should ask yourself is, am I in touch with myself? Or I'm just a mechanical person, acting and doing things very mechanically like Sophia? Sometimes am I not acting in a programmed way? I'm not in touch with myself. But when we sit and think about it, and we can get in touch with ourselves. I'm a conscious person, I'm not Sophia. I am, you can feel it. But otherwise, if you let yourself loose and the force of everyday activity, you start acting mechanically like Sophia. Am I right? You will feel that. You know that. Okay? That's because you're not spiritually awakened. Your spiritual dimension has not been awakened. If you don't do that, you will be very well a Sophia, although you're conscious. This is something that I want to bring to you. This is expressed by Krishna in Bhagavad Gita 5,000 years back on the battlefield. I'm just giving you a sample of what's mentioned in the Bhagavad Gita. Yata prakashayati ekha krishnam lokam imam ravihi. It's mentioned, this is something went wrong with I think the font when they changed the system from my thing. So it's all Greek and Latin, it's not Sanskrit, but it's okay. He's saying this, O son of Bharata, as the sun alone illuminates this whole universe, so does the living entity, the soul, you, one within the body, illuminate the entire body by consciousness. Got it? This room, if you put off the lights, you can't see each other. But when I put on the light, we are able to see each other. Everything is lit up. Same way, this body is dead matter. It obeys Newton's law. But the presence of the soul, you, from where comes consciousness, spreads through the whole body, and you become alive. I walk, I talk, I feel, I think, I move. But if that soul is not there, consciousness is not there, you fall down dead. Like this mic, like the speakers, I can kick them. They won't respond to me. But if I kick anybody here, you'll turn around and give me a punch on the nose. Why? Conscious beings. Although I kick the material portion of your body, of yourself, you will react to it. Why? Because of consciousness. So here Krishna telling to Arjuna that this body is permeated by consciousness. That is a dimension you should know about yourself, which is never taught anywhere. But this was spoken 5,000 years back on the battlefield, an exact understanding of who are you. If I ask you this question, most probably you won't know it. But we don't teach it anywhere. But that is mentioned in the Bhagavad Gita. And 5,000 years back, that was the culture. And before that also, that was the culture. Everybody knew deep physics, physics of the self. And today, it's a talk that we are battling a lot. Technology and the human being. The nexus between matter and spirit. Matter and technology alone without life in it, but very attractive. Automation and making things do, making machines work for you, and then feeling great about it. You feel a sense of control over it. But in the process, if you don't wake up to your real self, your real identity, there's a big mess that will happen. So we are two things inside. We are matter and spirit combined together. We study about matter. That's material laws. I spoke to you about Ohm's law, Faraday's law. You spoke to you about Newton's law and everything. All that governs matter portion of you. But you as a person, spirit, that spiritual knowledge, we are not educating. We are not educating. But Bhagavad Gita gives you that knowledge. The first information that Krishna gave Arjuna, when Arjuna was flummoxed, confused, bewildered on the battlefield, first he told him this, actually you're not the body, you're spirit soul. These people opposite you, Bhishma, Dronacharya, Kripacharya, whom you feel so much for, they won't die even if you shoot your arrows and if they fall dead. Only their bodies will die. They will live forever. You and your small arrow and bow and your weapons can never destroy the soul. The soul is forever. Na jayate mriyate va kadachin nayam bhutva bhavita va na bhuyah ajo nityah shashvato ayam purano nahanyate hanyamane sharire. When this body dies, you don't die. You're always living. Right? Matter and spirit. If you know only matter, you don't have full knowledge. If you know matter and spirit together, you have complete knowledge. Kshetrajnayor jnanam yattad jnanam matam mama. Krishna is telling in the 13th chapter to Arjuna that one who knows matter and spirit is a person whom I know to be in knowledge. But all our education institutions teach us only about matter. Really speaking, we are not knowledgeable. Because we don't know how we work. Because after all the great success and material success, I commit suicide. Because I have depression. I have this, I have that. I don't know how to manage myself. So there's something seriously lacking in our knowledge. It's knowledge of the spirit, knowledge of who you are, etc. So this information is given. Here is a quote. Krishna is telling Arjuna, the world doesn't work only through material law. It works through a combination of matter and spiritual law. Yavat sanjayate kinchit sattvam sthavara jangamam kshetra kshetrajnayor samyoga tadvidhi bharatarshaba. Bharatarshaba means Arjuna, tadvidhi, better you understand that everything in this world is a combination of matter and spirit, what you see. And the laws governing that are different. It's a combination of these things together. If you know spirit, then you automatically, easily will understand matter. But if you study only matter, you will get lost. You will not understand matter fully also. And that explains why, although they are doing deep research in artificial intelligence and everything, and they're trying to study consciousness, they can't explain consciousness through science. It's very difficult to explain. You can go and Google and see all the famous authorities in consciousness, David Chalmers, Ned Block, you can go and see their videos. We know it, we have it, we experience it, but we are not able to describe it in scientific terms. On the battlefield, Krishna is telling very casually consciousness, Avinashi tu tadviddi yena sarvam idam satam. He's telling what pervades his whole body, there is no destruction for it. Avinashi. There is no vinasha for you and for consciousness. Isn't this a great science about you? Yes or no? What do you think? Huh? On Gita Jayanti day, I thought I should give you 1 point from the Bhagavad Gita with this important, and you know how Bhagavad Gita is important for you. This is why it's important for you to learn Bhagavad Gita. Don't think it's just a religious text. It's a text of the Hindus. No. It's a text for everybody in this world. It doesn't say in Bhagavad Gita that it's only for Hindus I'm speaking. Krishna never said that. It's meant for every spirit soul, not only human beings, dogs, cows, horses. If they are conscious enough to learn, they will also learn. So it's an amazing explanation of life, of the world around you, nature. That is why, if you're talking about climate crisis, we just did that big program. We had some students from here also. We had students from 38 colleges come together, and we discussed this. Climate change within is required before you affect climate change outside. You don't know nature, and you think nature is something up for grabs, and everybody is ruining it, exploiting it, plundering it, because it doesn't belong to anybody. No, it belongs. It's spoken about in Bhagavad Gita. Krishna is saying, Mayadhyakshena prakriti suyate sa characharam. It is working under my superintendence. It's my energy. You can't mess around with it and do what you want with it. It'll hit you back. It hits you back in the form of pandemics, in the form of floods, tornadoes, sea level rising, ice caps melting, all sorts of crazy things happen and everybody's afraid. Why? Because you are the one who's spoiling it. Why? Because you look at nature without any spirit, without any personality in it. You exploit it thinking it's yours. So if persons arise with spiritual knowledge, you can see a tree lives. A tree is a living being. A tree is a spirit soul with a body. It is born. It grows. It reproduces. It actually dwindles. It dies. And today in science, I'll talk to you about trees helping each other underground. They're all connected in a forest. Every tree is connected to each other. It's amazing. Mycorrhizal, mycelium fungi are the fungi growing in between the roots. And the fungi requires glucose for its survival. And it gives nitrates and phosphates, everything, and carries messages, everything around. If there's a new plant growing, a new child has come, the mother sends extra minerals to it through these fungi. And then if there's some plant or some tree affected by a pest, then all of them get together and give extra minerals and everything to kill that pest. And they generate new type of chemicals. And they kill that pest. This is all discovered now. Are the trees not living? Of course they are. They're helping each other. And the whole forest is connected underneath. There's a big empire underneath. There's an internet connection. They call it the Wood Wide Web. It's connected everywhere. So there is so much personality in nature, and it is not just dumb matter. And we make that mistake of depersonalizing nature. So Bhagavad Gita teaches you, if you want to affect climate change, really, you affect the climate change within you. Because you think you are the body. You think matter is only important. You think there's nothing called spirit. That's dangerous. So Bhagavad Gita, to briefly tell you, in the Mahabharata it is described in the Shanti Parva, chapters 25 to 42, and it's written by Vyasadeva, you know already, contains 700 shlokas, was spoken in 3138 BC according to modern historical chronology, and that is actually exactly 5,160 years ago today, from today onwards. 5,160 years ago, and it is real. It actually happened. And that's why in that, what do you learn if you ask? I can tell you that there is 576 shlokas spoken by Krishna, and there's 78 questions or expressions of Arjuna, and Sanjaya is speaking 45. He's reporting the whole thing to the blind king Dhritarashtra, who asks one question right in the beginning in the Bhagavad Gita. That also you know. So if you look at it, total 700 shlokas, and you have 82% of them spoken by Krishna, and 11% questions, and the answers are 82%. And of course, then there's other things that you can calculate. So what is the subject matter of the Bhagavad Gita? Why? It speaks about you, right about you, and you should be very interested in knowing it, because it tells you about who you are really beyond this machine that you think you are and you see in front of the mirror. And it talks to you about the world you live in. What are the forces governing it? Nature's laws that work there. And you are situated inside there. How does this combination work? And what you do inside that, the deeds you do, karma, and what will happen to you if you don't do the right thing. There are laws working, how you should do things according to that. And within what time, between your birth and your death. And there is God, the Supreme Lord Krishna. He is the governor of both the material nature and the individual personality. And a relationship with Him, this tripartite relationship between man, nature, and God, has got a science behind it. And if you study that science, and if you live according to that, the whole planet can be very peaceful, very happy, and prosperous. So I want to end by saying that we are not human beings having a spiritual experience. We are spiritual beings having a human experience. Thank you.
Swamiji, that was quite an eye-opener, and I'm 200% sure that the crowd would have some real good questions to ask. Boys and girls, we open the floor to a question and answer session with Swamiji.
Yes, you can shoot questions. I'm a cool Swami. I won't take anything seriously. I can have some fun with you also.
Hare Krishna Maharaj Ji. Maharaj Ji, who am I? I wanted to ask you a question. Who am I?
I tried to tell you that briefly.
Yeah.
At least you know on a knowledge level that I am something more than what I see in the mirror and what people see. I am a spiritual personality.
Okay.
Okay? And then there are other definitions to it as you understand more. Like a spiral, you can educate yourself more and more on who you are. In connection with Krishna, as Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita, Mamaivam sa jivaloke jivabhuta sanatana. He defines who are you. He said, you are my part and parcel. So we are all very closely connected with the Supreme Divinity who speaks Sri Bhagavan Uvacha in Bhagavad Gita. We all have a connection with the Supreme Absolute Truth, the reality, the personality of Godhead. Okay? We are part and parcel of Godhead, and we are spiritual entities. That should be understood. That's the Bhagavad Gita's definition.
Okay.
Okay? Fine. Any other question? Any other question?
Sir.
Yeah.
Swamiji, why are you and how are you into this Krishna consciousness?
Why are you into Krishna consciousness?
And how are you?
I explained a bit of why I am into Krishna consciousness. It's extremely interesting to me. To know more about myself, to know more about the world, and to do better service to human beings, I like to do this way. So I found there's a very exciting information that I thought I should share with everybody. Just what I do. I am excited about what I am discovering myself, and I'm learning every day. And I like to share my learning with others. And whether people believe it or not, I try to give them this information, which I think is very valuable, very crucial, that every one of us, because in the Vedic writings it is mentioned that human life is very rare, and it is dullava manava janma. Rarely do you get a human life, and it is meant and designed for us to ask these questions, which I title there as $1 million questions, and get the answers for that, because we have that intelligence. And our intelligence is meant to be utilized for understanding this.
So when did you come, which phase of your life you entered this thing?
Oh, well, I did my engineering, and then I was working in a MNC, and I didn't like it very much. And at that time I landed up reading this Bhagavad Gita, and I became interested. When you are sort of confused and a little depressed and suffering, you take up spiritual life better.
Yeah.
So I think by Krishna's plan, it came to me at the right time, and I became very interested. After that, my life took a little turn.
Thank you, Swamiji.
Okay? Yes.
So you said we are not human beings having spiritual experience, but spiritual beings having a human experience. Could you please explain the difference?
Yes, I did that specifically so that you'll ask this question. By just saying I'm a human being, generally what we think in our mind immediately is, I'm not a cow, I'm not a cat, I'm not a dog, I'm not a beast, I'm a human. Actually, in Bhagavad Gita's terminology, it doesn't mean much, it's just that you have a different vehicle in which you travel. You have cycles. I heard from our director here that we don't allow the students any motorized vehicle. They can use only the cycle, okay, there are 2 legs. That's all, right? Yes, we can have different types of vehicles. You could have a motorbike, you could have a car, you could have an auto rickshaw, you could have an aeroplane, you could have all sorts of vehicles, and you could travel in them. So there's no essential great difference between a dog, a cat, and a human being. Why? It's just that the vehicle is different, but the soul is the same. The soul is the same, right? So having a human experience just means that instead of having a cat experience, dog experience, I'm having a human experience. But the main point is I'm a spiritual being. Because that doesn't change, it's a changeless core. I'm temporarily having a human experience. But I'm actually a spiritual personality having a temporary human experience. I'm not a human being having once in a while a spiritual experience. That's wrong. On a day when weekly you go to the temple, I have a spiritual experience, but the rest of the time I'm a human being. It's not right, as per Bhagavad Gita. Okay? I hope that helps you.
Namaste, sir. Sir, is it possible to get salvation while we are living? For example, the people who follows spiritual path, it's said that specific parts in our body called as chakras, we enlighten them, and on the highest, on the second last point, it's the place where we acquire the whole knowledge, and on the last point of the chakra, we'll lose everything. So does it mean that in the highest point, we'll acquire salvation? Like moksha.
Can you define what is the moksha, salvation?
Sir, I don't know.
But then you have asked the question.
Yes, sir.
So that's interesting. You have used the word moksha. Anyway, I understand your question. You see, you described that there's chakra and this will happen like this, if this goes up on top and this will happen, there's moksha. You gave a very mechanical description of moksha. It's like telling, I moved myself here and I banged my leg here. Ouch! I said. Then you immediately tell me, no sir, actually there are neurons that fired when your leg hit this thing, and then it went up to the brain, and in the brain it told you, then it moved the hands, and the voice came out, ouch! If I give you an explanation like that, but I'm suffering the pain. No, this is what has happened to you. The neurons fired like this. Does it satisfy you?
No, sir.
Does it give you a, sort of a alleviation of the pain that you're having? No. So a mechanical description of an conscious experience doesn't in any way work out like that. The development of your spiritual consciousness is an entirely different science. Don't use material science to explain a spiritual phenomena. It doesn't work. That's the problem with materialists and scientists now. They're trying to explain consciousness with their material tools. You cannot explain it. So if you want to learn moksha, then you have to do what Krishna said in Bhagavad Gita. He said, Manmana bhava madbhaktaha madhyaji mam namaskuru. Mam evaishyasi satyam te pratijane priyosi me. Become my devotee. Absorb yourself in me. I have a relationship with you, you have a relationship that's eternal with me. And once you build that relationship, you will actually be automatically liberated. So establishing a relationship with our Supreme Father, that's called yoga. Means connecting. Comes from the Sanskrit word yuj, yoga. We are all disconnected with ourselves and also with God. And also with nature. And then we are taking climate crisis, that, this and everything. We have to get into proper consciousness of who you are, who Krishna, God is, and how to connect. Then moksha is actually a byproduct of that. You don't even have to look for moksha. It's mentioned about that comes automatically. Just like if you buy this, you get that free. So if you really connect up and become the full person that you are, then moksha is a byproduct.
Thank you, sir.
Yeah. Okay? Oops. Yeah. You can stop the questions, the organizers, when you want, okay?
So earlier I talked about consciousness and how it's difficult to be explained in scientific terms. But how would you explain consciousness?
Good question. How would you understand what I explain about consciousness? It's another question that I have.
So I think it's the sense of feeling oneself, the feeling of being, as in a human's bodily functions like walking, moving, that sort of thing. But is there anything you can add on to it?
Somewhat. That's the nearest we can get to with the type of functioning that we do. Okay? Yes, so you're making a material reading of consciousness.
Yes,
actually.
sir. But there's more to it.
But you know by experience that you're conscious. You know
Yes.
what I mean by you're conscious? Not like the regular, I felt unconscious, not that. It's completely different. That's a material thing. But when I say that I am conscious, I explain to you how you can be disconnected and become like Sophia. That you mechanically, unconsciously do many things.
So being like self-aware.
Like the nearest they have nowadays, be mindful, they talk about. But actually what it means is be very conscious, be connected, is what they're trying to say. But they don't know this language of Bhagavad Gita. So they're saying be mindful. I hope you understand.
Yes,
There
sir.
is no technical terminology or words to describe. But Prabhupada spoke about consciousness in his books 60 years back. He wrote, even before science had made this progress. Because Krishna already spoke 5,000 years back. And in Vedic society, everybody knew about consciousness. It's not something they have to struggle with and explain. Because we're trying to explain it through matter. But when you're spiritually awakened, you understand more about what consciousness means. I'm giving you an inkling of it, right? But you know that when you're connected with yourself, you are solidly placed. You are wired up correctly. And then your mind is under your control. Your intelligence functions perfectly. And you know you're in control of yourself. But when you are disconnected, your mind goes here and there. You can't control it. You know?
Yes.
Sometimes you become depressed. Sometimes you become emotional. Sometimes you become disturbed. That's all because you're not connected. So the whole effort is to become connected. That's what is yoga. And that means your consciousness gets fixed. and you are placed there. So it's an experience that you have as you elevate yourself spiritually, gradually. But theoretically, you can understand this, that let me say that consciousness is a connection between your material body and yourself. It's something like that. Okay?
Thank you, sir.
Yeah. Okay. Oh, there's one more. You can go ahead and you can stop it or whatever. I am a free man, I don't have anything to do.
Good evening, Swamiji. Good evening, all. So my question to you is, you've talked about Gita, and you've said that it is not necessarily a religious text. And I too agree with that, because we have seen that many people from different religious backgrounds, they are huge admirer of Srimad Bhagavad Gita, including our former president Shri APJ Abdul Kalam. He was a huge admirer of Gita. Yes. I agree. But my question to you would be, is how being religious is connected to being spiritual? I mean to say, what is the difference in being spiritual and being religious? Does one have to be religious in order to be spiritual?
Very, very interesting question. It requires a detailed answer, but I'll try to summarily explain it to you. It's not that religion is not required. Religion is the pathway through which we become spiritually oriented. Religion is a place where our material life and our spiritual effort meet together. That's why there are laws. Religious laws means like moral, ethical laws also. When you take out God and religion from life, people become immoral, unethical, confused. What to do and what not to do, they don't know. They make up their own laws, man-made laws, government laws. Each country has got its own laws, da-da-da-da. But generally speaking, it's confusing. And that's why you get things like climate crisis, economic meltdowns, this, that, everything. So for human beings to properly live in this world and also have their material experience, plus also make spiritual progress, there are laws made by God. That is called religion, dharma. So, and everybody must follow that. Otherwise, everything goes crazy. In other words, a godless society is dangerously placed. But a godful society with religion in place, dharma in place, what to do and what not to do. Kim karmeti, kim akarmeti, kavayopyatra mogita. What to do and what not to do, even the most educated people are confused. So I will tell you that. So religion means a system that we follow to be able to make spiritual progress and be materially happy. That's required. But the end of religion is that you become, like she said, achieve moksha, become totally spiritually oriented and become liberated from matter and material function. Because that is your original constitutional position. So there is spirituality and you lead yourself to spirituality, and beyond that there is devotional life and all that. There's a lot of other things also explained. Okay?
Yes, sir. Thank you, sir.
Yeah.
Hello, Swami.
Hello. What's your name?
My name is Pavan Shanmukha.
Pavan Shanmugam.
Shanmukha.
Shanmukha.
Yeah,
Okay.
sir. Sir, I have a question. How can one control his mind from arising desires? It may be of any kind for a student actually, generally.
It's very difficult. It's very difficult. I agree. Unless you actually use a faculty higher than the mind. And that's explained in Bhagavad Gita very nicely. Indriyani paraniyahur indriyebhya parammanah manasastu parabuddhir yo buddhe paratas saha. Krishna is explaining a hierarchy that is there within the structure. You as soul are actually the proprietor. But there is a structure, there is a subtle body, and there is a gross body. Jada Sharira and Sukshma Sharira. In the Sukshma Sharira, there is a hierarchy. That is Mana, Buddhi, Ahankar. The mind is very strong. But above the mind is the intelligence. If the intelligence is fed with correct information and knowledge, then using that, the intelligence can control the mind. And in order for your intelligence to get inspired, you have good association of persons who are spiritually strong, and they will inspire you and give you knowledge, and using that, your intelligence will control the mind. That's the mechanical system that I'm explaining. So I'm giving you an academic answer in terms of what you would understand. But there are other things involved with this, right? If you're spiritually enlightened, or you have some spiritual knowledge, and you are spiritually practicing something, then there is a good chance you'll get extra strength spiritually, and that will give you immense inspiration, and you'll be able to control very easily the mind.
Thank you, Swami.
All right. Thank you very much. Hare Krishna. Wishing you all a very happy Gita Jayanti with inspiration of Gita wisdom by the blessings of Krishna. Thank you. I go? Oh,
Ladies and gentlemen, this is the time when we acknowledge the talent of our position holders. The Department of Amrita Darshanam, in collaboration with Arya Club, has conducted Bhagavad Gita recitation competition, and we have the champions with us.
The girl who stood first in the contest is a recipient of cash prize 2000, the pioneer and Vegard. May I hear a thunder of claps to welcome on stage Suri Dikshita from the School of Physical Science.
Now, let me announce another talented young woman who has secured the second position and is receiving a cash prize of 1,500. Put your hands together for Ashwini K from CSE.
Ladies and gentlemen, our participants are so talented and versatile. Any compliments fall short to describe them. Welcoming on stage our third place holder with a cash prize of 1,000 rupees, show your appreciation for Ananya G from MC, Mass Communication.
On behalf of the entire audience, I congratulate all the awardees who proved that perseverance and consistency are the reasons why they are the champions of this wonderful evening.
Before proceeding any further, I am deeply gratified to inform that Swamiji has decided to present a set of Srimad Bhagavatam to our central library. I request our campus director, it's Parameshwaran sir, to receive on behalf of our university. Finally, may I call upon Mr. Professor Parameshwaran C., Principal, Director of Corporate and Industrial Relations, to join us on stage and receive a memento presented by Mr. Balram, Secretary of Arya Club, and Mr. Veeresh, the Vice President, and Tarun Reddy, Chairperson of Arya Club.
Now may I call upon our campus director to collect the memento from the president of Arya Club, Mr. Sandeep, and head of public relations, Ms. Shruti. May I appeal Dr. A.S. Ramkumar sir, Head of Student Welfare, to join us on stage and receive a memento from the hands of Mr. Akash, Treasurer of Arya Club, and Ms. Shrestha, Head of Event Management. Now, before we call it a night, as a part of the Spark wing of Arya Club, we are going to have many personality development sessions, and the one coming right around the corner is the Discover Yourself workshop. For further details, please reach out to us through our socials. The link to our club's official page is aryaclub.bio.link. I repeat, aryaclub.bio.link.
Thank you, everyone. Now, it is time we drop the curtains on this evening with a vote of thanks by our host, Sanjeev.
Ladies and gentlemen, on behalf of the Arya family, I extend my heartiest vote of thanks to our Honorable Chief Guest, His Holiness Bhakti Vinod Swami Maharaj, Professor Parameshwaram C., Principal Director, Corporate and Industrial Relations, Campus Director, Retired Air Commodore Sri Satish Ramachandra Menon Sir, and Dean of Engineering, Amrita Vishwavidyapeetam, Coimbatore, Dr. Sasangan Ramanathan Sir, Dr. Nava Subramaniam, Dean, Amrita School of Business, for spending their time with us despite their jam-packed calendars. Today, we have the fortunate latitude to hear your thoughts, and I must say, they have added far-out perspectives to our thought process. My sincere gratitude to the student welfare, the head of departments, and all the class advisors who graced the event with their presence. I would like to extend my special thanks to the Department of Amrita Darshanam for being such a wonderful collaboration partner and sharing the joys of this evening. An honorable mention to our beloved professors, Mr. Pramod Kumar Sir, Dr. Shripat Sir, Dr. UKV Sharma Sir, Dr. Naveen Bhatt Sir, Dr. Sushruta Sir, Dr. Ram Kumar Sir, Dr. Venkatraman Sir, Mrs. Jayashree Menon Ma'am, and Ms. Vaishnavi Ma'am for being the catalyst that stimulated us into doing our best. Finally, I would like to thank each and every performer from this evening. It is their performances that has made this evening worth remembering. On behalf of the entire team, let me thank you all for being such an amazing audience. That is all from my side. Take care, good night, and we'll see you next time.